Here at the Catman Show, we like to criticise things. We like to go on and on about how shit things are. But what you might not know is that Catman is really about positivity. Personally, I think that criticising shit, even hating on shit, is fun. So for me, it is a positive experience. Especially because I'm not like emotionally invested 99% of the time. I just want to talk my shit, but I can see how I could come off as a negative person to others. So to offset this, I'm starting a new series where I talk about things that I have enjoyed in the past week. I'm going to call it Catman's Week. I'm not going to go like mad in depth into anything here, more just some brief thoughts. I'm going to start off with some music I've been listening to. The first one is Black Moses by Isaac Hayes. In this album, I recognised so many parts from where it had been sampled in other music. Like, you had the intro of Born to Live by OC is in this. There's Portishead Glory Box. There's some others, they don't come to mind right now. But I understand why this was sampled so much, because this shit is magical. The cover of Close to You is one of the most blissful songs I've ever heard. Then you got Never Gonna Give You Up, Ike's Rap 2, Going in Circles, all amazing songs. Isaac Hayes is good for your soul, and this album in particular might be his best. Next we've got Al Qaeda Finland by Julma Henry. I don't understand Finnish, but this shit just goes hard. And to be honest, this might just be my schizo interpretation, but the vibes are on some fuck the demiurge, break out the matrix shit, and I fuck with that. Next we've got The Diary of Alicia Keys by Alicia Keys. It took me by surprise because I didn't expect this to be anywhere as near as like soulful as it was, and like a deal of it actually is in the same lane to me as a lot of like classic soul that I love from like the 70s. And then you got some songs here that they're more on some like Lauryn Hill shit, like If I Was Your Woman. Amazing song, really. I only realised how amazing of a singer Alicia is listening to this album. The energies, the vibes are positive. It'll do you good, so listen if you haven't. Definitely a classic, I fucking love it. Next we've got Portal of Vibe by, I'm gonna butcher this, Ni Oblivisaris. This exceeded my expectations a lot. I thought it was gonna be gay, but it was really cool and emotional. Though it did fall off a little towards the end of the album. I have kind of forgotten what I wanted to say about this one, I'm not gonna lie. But it is very good, believe me. So if you like metal, check it out. Next we got Shame by Jimmy Brown. 19-year-old Jimmy Brown brings us some hilarious songs with this album. Hilarious, but I think some of it is definitely coming from a real place and feels genuinely emotional as well. It's this kind of approach where he processes his pain and feelings through turning it into something that reflects the absurdity of feeling this way about yourself. I have a similar kind of thing that I call the pull-up bar ritual, where I hang from my pull-up bar and I sway, and I say to myself, oh, aren't I such a wretched, despicable man? The way I am hanging and swinging here, aren't I just such a deplorable hanger? This sort of ritual will cast out any negative feelings and make you remember that life is just a video game, and it's silly to be so caught up on feeling bad about it. Different songs remind me of different bands. Some remind me of The Cure or The Fall. Some are more like something like The Human League or Pet Shop Boys. There's some jangly shit, some shit with horns, it's all over the shop really. It's probably a top 10 album of all time if we're being real. You got songs like Black Pudding Man, fucking How Do I Stop Crying When I Masturbate, that's good. I'm Gonna Stop Taking Prozac So I Can Keep Drinking, that's a good song, check it out. Now from here on, it's gonna be new music, stuff that's come out this year. Most of it like within the past week really. So first of all you got People by Nico B, which is like, it's like some hip house kind of shit, more house. It's got like a funkiness to it, maybe a little bit of a new disco kind of shit going on. It's got a lot of old school Calvin Harris vibes going on. It's like incredibly joyous and fun and catchy. The song I Like the Way You Talk, Looking at Me, I will be listening to that loads. It's one of my favourite songs of the year. This EP, it's only 3 songs long. It takes like 10 minutes to listen to them all probably. And they're just good for you, they're good for your soul. They're good for your mind, your body and your soul. It's one of my favourite things that's come out this year, to be honest. Next we've got Lotus by Little Sims. Now this album really surprised me because her last 2 albums felt really overblown to me. and lyrically too vague, like she was some motivational poster targeted at the most people possible. I didn't really rate the singles either, but I think in the context of the album I appreciated these songs more, and the album really blindsided me as well in the way it solved this overblown issue by reeling back a lot and having more low-key instrumentals. And the lyrics are also much more personal, so she solved the gripes I had with her previous stuff. There's still a couple mid-songs, but all in all, would say this is her best album after Grey Area. Next we got Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon. I'm not actually crazy about this album because of the amount of autistic voices all over it, but big up McKinley for being an agent of positivity. His last album is one of the most joyous things you can listen to, so I recommend checking that out if you haven't. And this is still a pretty good album. It's got a good message. You know, it's good for you. It's good for you. Now we got More by Pulp. It's a very good comeback album as far as Britpop bands go. Absolutely mogs that new Blur album from a couple years back. Very much feels like an album they could have released in their prime as well. The lyrics have stayed of the same quality, and I would place it right here in the Pulp rankings above his and hers. Next we got Trompe l'Oeil by Until Japan. Very creative beats on this, which is one of the reasons I've always fucked with Until Japan. And the negativity cast on drugs here is something I can appreciate. There's way too many addict coke bars in rap music nowadays, and it always comes off really silly to me. I think in the future I might make a video on that actually. Next we've got Assaltos Habitadas by FBC. I don't really got much to say about this one because I don't understand Portuguese, but this shit just goes incredibly hard. It's actually one of my favourite out of this list of new music. Just really badass boom bap shit with like mad bass lines. Next we've got Ego Trip by John Mitchell and Anthony James. So I'm still not sure where this album actually came from, and it kind of feels like they're trying to make a magnum opus with their first album, but it falters in that approach because, like, I don't know, I haven't been given time to familiarize myself with like who you are and like what you're trying to do, what your message is. You know, I think you need to introduce yourself before you plunge into a climax like this. Like, there's the very first album, it's like a climax of the career is what it feels like. But I think it needs a bit more. We need a bit more context. But regardless, it is really good. That's just like my overall criticism. Very, very soulful. There's like a lot of samples of my main man, Pastor T.L. Barrett. Check out his music if you haven't. It's amazing. But yeah, there's generally amazing vibes on this one. Very emotional, very, very positive, very uplifting. Alright, that's it for the music. Some other stuff I've been up to is I finished the book I Am a Cat this week. Now, this book, it sounds really absurd, and it is, but not really in the way that you'd expect it to be. While there is feline adventures in store within this book, really what this book presents is a bunch of midwits achieving nothing with their lives and getting really wound up over dumb shit. It can be bitter, but mostly it comes with good humour. It just ends in a way that exacerbates that bitter absurdity of it all. A cautionary tale maybe. It's not really like essential reading or anything, but it's pretty funny. I also read Notes from the Underground because it's really short, so I read it in a few hours. Basically about a guy who overthinks his way into being okay with being totally useless and worthless. All the actions he does take are made out of spite and pettiness, which he only really feels because he has disallowed himself life. I think it's a cautionary tale because you can see parts of yourself in his notes, only it's a small thing for you. With this guy, it's purposefully been maximised to show you the pointlessness and misery of following that line of thought. Definitely a good read. He has Mike Lane Naked-esque outbursts at points. It's a feel-bad sort of book, but it has a point and isn't just intended to make you feel like shit. I wouldn't really say it compares to Dostoevsky's other books just because of how short it is, but it is worth reading for sure. I've been listening to that Wi-Fi Skeleton tune, Nope You're Too Late, I Already Died, quite a lot recently, because I really like that little guitar melody. It runs through my head quite a lot. It's probably not a good thing to have this song running through your head though, given how negative it is. There's lyrics like, my life's the worst story told, I'll be this way till I'm old. I'm a believer that the art we consume has a considerable influence over us, and I think this is something people don't really consider enough. I had this mate who would only listen to depressive black metal, and he himself admitted that he was depressed and that the music reinforced his depression. But at the same time, it was the only music he liked. I think it's best to listen to music that is going to have a positive influence over you. Stuff that will motivate and inspire you. Shit that has energy, shit that makes you think. I love this song, but given how negative it is, I often listen to the Family Guy meme version of it, If You See Me Out in Quahog, and I recommend this as a viable alternative because it is still very good and has more of a sense of levity and appreciation and love of something within it. I've been watching a lot of Pen Game lately. For those that don't know, Pen Game is a rap battle show. I've always liked rap battles because they allow people to target aggression into a more creative, entertaining and positive place. I do rap battles with my friends sometimes because it's fucking hilarious. You never know what people are going to come out with. I won't lie, some of these men on Pen Game are kind of shit, but there's plenty of guys throwing out hilarious lines and giving really memorable performances. Like this one guy hit the Jeremy Kyle stance in a battle, and that stuck with me. But yeah, I won't bang on about it, but if you're into that sort of thing, check it out. Alright, that's enough positivity for the week. We'll be getting back to being pissed off about everything very soon, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the Catman channel, leave a comment, leave a like. Goodbye.